Hey, it's Bram Duffee here to talk about ethics in public speaking. You know, when you're talking with your friends and you expect them to be straight with you, well, it's the same when you deal with when you're speaking to a crowd. Listeners want a speaker who's honest and tells it how it is, because that's how you earn their trust. Just like the captain of a ship needs to be trusted by their crew, a speaker must gain credibility with their audience. So let's talk about why it's such a big deal. On one hand, practically speaking, if the audience doesn't buy what you're selling, well, your ideas, they're just not going to hop on board with you. And on a moral level, treating your listeners with respect by being truthful is really just the right thing to do. It's kind of how, you know, people have a code of honor that they stick to. So being responsible for your words means that you have to have a moral compass that points a certain direction when you talk to others. And ethics is all about how we should act towards each other. It's like a rule book for playing fair. And so in public speaking, we do have a thing called communication ethics. And it just means that we make the right calls when trying to persuade or influence people. So imagine a speaker who knows their stuff inside and out and genuinely cares about what's good for you. That's someone with a positive ethos, and audiences will naturally flock to them. And that they have what's called source credibility. It's like when you trust a teacher who really knows their subject, you trust that they're not lying to you and that they want the best for you. So everybody has their own picks when it comes to values. And when speaking, you need to think about the different things that your audience thinks are awesome or not awesome, because audience analysis is key to get to know them better, and thinking about, what that audience has in their mind already and what kind of person that you're talking to matters, because both sides have to be judged up. These ethical choices in speech can be a bit like choosing a path on a video game. Some lead to rewards and some lead to game over. And there are these smart thinkers who've come up with ethical theories that can help tell which path is the good one. And the deal, though, is that there's a public discourse out there. It's a massive group where people talk about the issues that matter to them. And so if you're giving a speech and you want to make that conversation better, the goal is to aim for the greater good rather than winning points for yourself. It's like playing a game where everyone should have fun, not just one person hogging the ball. So that means that you can't be selfish in that public discourse interaction. So we do have this amazing thing called free speech, and this is where you're free to share your thoughts and feelings. And the First Amendment is like the VIP pass to say whatever. But remember, with this great power comes great responsibility. There are some real no-nos, like hate speech that's meant to hurt others, or fighting words that can start an actual physical fight. Plus, of course, there's things like slander, which is like spreading false rumors that could totally ruin someone's reputation. We need to use our word power for good, y'all. It's not just about staying out of trouble. It's about being the kind of speaker who leaves the world a little bit brighter than we found it, right? And you're all here because you've got a message to share or a story to tell. And you will in this class, and you will in life. And before you step up to that podium in this class and later on in life, I want you to know that there's a right way to do it. And we want our words to connect with others and not create invisible walls. So when we think about how to be an ethical speaker, first off, let's talk about ethnocentrism. So imagine you love playing basketball and you think everyone else should play basketball. And that's cool for you, but not everyone's into dribbling and shooting hoops. So Ethnocentrism is when you think your way of seeing things is the only way. And actually, it just doesn't fly good in a public speaking environment, because when you've got world viewpoints out there, it's important to know who that audience is that you're speaking to. It's like assuming everyone at your birthday party wants pizza when someone might actually be craving sushi. So that's the ethnocentrism. Like, we have to sometimes put ourselves aside and think about the topic and think about the audience, so that we're not offensive, and so that we take into account other people's perspectives and not just our own. We've also got stereotyping. And this is when you make a snap judgment about someone just because that they're part of a group, and saying like things like all cats are lazy, right? And sure, your buddy Whiskers might like his nap time, but that doesn't mean that every cat in town is like snoozing on the job or something. Stereotyping can lead to like these in-group or out-of-group distinctions, then that can make ideas and people be left out. So we don't want that. We want everyone to belong and feel like they belong. And so we want to show dignity and integrity. We want to have civic virtues. That's when we're honest and we cater to the voices that are in the room. We want to be someone known as trustworthy. You know, if we're up there lying, or it even seems like we're lying, or seems like we're being mistruthful, then your word is your bond. You may just mess up everything. You know, those relationships are something that could matter for a lifetime. And this is one of the cautionary tales that I give about, you know, the importance of what to think about when we're putting our public presence out there. And so being a responsible, a fair individual, all of this stuff is stuff that you're judged by. You're up there in front of the audience, and yes, they are looking at your appearance, but they're looking at how you're talking. They're looking at your passion, and they're looking at your motivation and your intentions. And all of those things have the potential to come through in a negative way. And if they do, your ethics score could get hit. And like I said, as soon as an ethics score gets hit in somebody, a lot of times there's no going back from that. So obviously another no-no on this is plagiarism. And that's when you take someone else's words or ideas and pretend like they're yours. Just don't do it. It's like if you copied your friend's homework and then got an award for it. It's not cool. So what we do is we just always give shout outs to our sources. And so whether you're directly quoting somebody or paraphrasing their thoughts, you know, it's just like tagging somebody in a photo they took. So it shows you appreciate their work. And so that's part of this. And so we don't do the full source descriptions like we would in a paper, right? We wouldn't say that in a 1975 article called blah, blah, blah by this person in this journal, we wouldn't reference that full kind of thing. Instead, we might say a researcher named Jones, who wrote an article in the Journal of International Discovery in the 40s, was able to talk about how, see what I mean? So you make reference to stuff. You give people enough to give them what they need to understand the source and what you're giving and why you're giving it. So the other thing to throw out there is copyright. Copyright laws are there because people can't just swipe information without permission. And there are fair use laws that let you use a bit of that information for like education or reporting purposes, but you still have to give credit. So for all of this stuff that we have to deal with in this class, we want to make sure that the ideas that don't come from us have a source, and just sticking them at the end of the speech in a references page won't work. And the reason it won't work is because the speeches are given verbally, and we're going to expect that that's the message that the audience has to pull from. So all of the stuff that has to do with ethics, it may seem like a no big deal zone, but the reality is that you are completely judged by this aspect. And so I want to make sure that you are able to stay on par from an ethical perspective. That way they believe you. That way they listen to you. And that trust is what's going to make it get there. So thanks for listening.